So there you have it. Give yourself a pat on the back for making it to the bitter end of the video. If you're keen on this one, why not check out the triple unboxing that featured the blue version? If you like the brand, I reviewed their Chronicle, their debut model, last year. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Right, what's next? I better get this Mitch Mason Maelstrom in the post to Jason in Aruba, hadn't I? I wish I could post myself to Aruba.
You're welcome here anytime, bro. Okay. Special thanks to Jody of Just One More Watch. If you're not subscribed to his channel, what are you doing? Subscribe now. Whoa, got auto balance. Gotta fix that a little bit. There we go. Mitch Mason. I missed out on Mitch Mason's first timepiece, and this is the second one. Oh, and hey Jason, love your work, mate. Thanks, Jody. Thank you so much. Again, Just One More Watch. Subscribe. Production sheets. The collection. Specifications. I'll probably, definitely use this. And a thank you card from Ben. Okay. And here's the actual. There we are. Here's the board. Kindly put this board back between the watch before storage. Thank you. That's very particular of men. And I guess that's of course just to protect the inner band from scratching the case back or other parts of the band. I like that. I kind of like that. See, it's a screw down crown here. Oh, I love this crown. But you can definitely feel something there. Let me focus on the... I had to use my iPhone's onboard video app for this one, so bear with me. And it doesn't autofocus. Great. You see that? That's weird. Designer notes, subject 131.
Watch design is very derivative. Much of what we see has been done before or taken somewhere else. If you try and escape this ugly truth and be as unique as you can, you run the risk of making an ugly watch. The Maelstrom from Mitch Mason is definitely not an ugly watch. It actually has a great balance of uniqueness through the sharing of design. In fact, the brand represents the ideal of sharing in more ways than you think. Like, comment, and subscribe for content you'd like to see next. Follow us at Instagram at Atelier Aruba for behind-the-scenes content. Email us at designatilieruba@gmail.com. This video is brought to you by Mitch Mason. Mitch Mason is an upstart micro brand that's making a name for itself with its first successful release, the Chronicle. Alright, it's starting to sound like I've been using this same introduction for microbrands we've been presenting here, but I really did want to review this watch because they made some really great design choices. That pleasing crown, that unique hour hand design, and subtle visual cues that enhances the personality of the watch keeps the collection fresh after months of being in the market that's saturated with micro brands. It's really starting to look repetitive with brands releasing seemingly identical designs, but Mitch Mason continues to stand apart with its endearing details. With that said, I'm not about to miss their latest release, the Compressor style diver Maelstrom. It will launch next month with 4 variant colors: the steel blue, ocean gray, marimo green, and aquatic black. These are pretty decent colors and a bit bold by not releasing a red model, but I think that's not outside the realms of possibilities. We'll be focusing on the ocean gray variant, which is a mix of subdued monochrome and a hint of cool class. And cool it truly is. beginning with the distance measuring at 47mm, which is pretty much accepted by the greater crowd. At 12mm, the thickness is more than enough to wear under sleeves and still command a presence on the wrist. Flipping over to the top, the diameter is the arguably near perfect 40mm, but this really wears more like 42mm because of the dual crown setup. With those dimensions, the wearability never suffers, as even my 6¼ inch wrist remains happily comfortable. I think this profile works well on both flat and modestly curved wrists. The short distance from lug to lug helps make this watch a compact piece. The lug design also assists in bringing this cozy feeling on the wrist. From the side, you can view the fine articulation of the first links that adapts to any wrist size. This is an underrated achievement brought by the lug profile of the Maelstrom. Because of the end links being a female or indented structure, the middle link swivels further inside your wrist. In contrast, a male end link configuration stretches the watch distance as the middle link serves as an extension of the lugs. The Maelstrom also has drilled lug holes that references back to vintage watch design and of course adds more strap options. Not that the bracelet isn't good enough, it actually has some decent brush finish and polished chamfers. Mitch Mason is big in convenience, and that shows in their use of screw pins for the link adjustments. For this model, we are given just 6 adjustment holes. If there was anything I wish they would have included is a micro adjust mechanism like most of its competitors at this price point. The bridges are milled and very solid. The clasp and flip lock are all equally well built as well. Overall, it's a decent H-link bracelet that has a slight taper to enhance your wrist mobility. It's not as flexible as other bracelets with shorter links, but it hugs your cuff comfortably. Behind the bracelet are twin quick-release spring bars that's just the rave of every microbrand at the moment. I can't blame them because I love these. Just look at how quick it is to release both ends of the bracelet. This is one of the most useful features and easy to operate. As per operation goes, the crowns are remarkably pleasant to work with because it's wide and easy to grip. The lower crown is for setting the date and hands. This is also used to wind the movement like most watches we're used to. Inside is a Miyota 9015 time and date caliber with a 42-hour power reserve and 4 Hz frequency. The upper crown is used for the inner rotating bezel. It's smooth to turn but has a noticeable dampened friction to it. This is a bidirectional bezel with no positive clicking action. You may feel a sense of clicking when rotating clockwise, but this is just the gears from within the case. It should be possible to add a small ratchet to this bezel, but I'm sure it will just add to the cost. When set side by side with the Submariner, the proportions are similar. The case curves and lug angle does help streamline the case a little compared to the Maxi Case Submariner. It is clearly thicker than the Sub, with its bezel and slightly domed crystal towering over the case. The Sub does have male end links that increases the lug-to-lug distance. Another diver with male end links is the recent titanium Mako from Zelos. This has a closer profile with the Maelstrom. We can appreciate the simplicity in design on this Mitch Mason, as we can see that the Zelos has a complete opposite idea for details. This one appears longer as well because of its lug structure. So let's compare this with another Zelos that has a female end link. The black tip is a much sleeker design as a skin diver, but it's not that too different to the Maelstrom. The presentation, however, is as far as it could be, as Zelos is known to play more openly with colors. The playfulness of the Maelstrom is evident more on the strap options. It's quick and easy to swap for your favorite band. We tested a number of looks, starting with this high contrast stitched sailcloth strap from Artem. This premium band carries the watch a level higher with its stark tone and sportiness. Coupled with Artem's premium Richard Mille style clasp, and we've got ourselves a luxury feeling diver that we can only experience from the likes of Longines or Blancpain. Bold statements, yes, but I'm definitely impressed with this combination. Next, we used an Amazon budget NATO and installed some off-the-shelf spring bars on the Maelstrom. I chose the gray fabric to match the gray dial. The stiff and rough fabric NATO aside, the theme now changes from a diver to a more fieldy, outdoorsy look. This would look great on better quality NATOs for sure. The dial of this Mitch Mason may look simple at a quick glance, but this is where we will find many of the more interesting features of the watch. Under a macro lens, the sunray finish immediately captures your attention. This gray anthracite dial remains subtle until hit by rays of light. The grading on this finish isn't too obvious, even on close-ups. What's obvious to me is the number of different typefaces on this dial. It's a bit nitpicky, but I can count 6 different fonts on the dial and bezel. The lume on this model uses BGW9, while the others in the collection use old Radion Superluminova. This particular unit is a prototype, and Mitch Mason promises to improve on its lume. As it sits, the sandwich dial's numerals should have generous lume on it to match the bezel and track's luminosity. Other details on the case are shared from the design aesthetics of the Chronicle while being updated slightly for the Maelstrom. There's much love and care given to the crown with its beautifully polished emblems on a matte blasted surface. Another signature of the brand is the knot on the hour hand, and this version of that knot is refreshingly pleasing. Behind the watch exhibits the gloriously stamped caseback, which is quite a treat to caseback lovers. What more can you ask? Well, actually I do have a couple. With Mitch Mason's blessings, I boldly drew over their design. First, I added a scale on the bezel at the first 15 minutes for diving certification. I also moved the numerals around to align with the inner track bars. Then I shortened the hands a little, which is what Mitch Mason is already busy at doing right now, even before I got this watch. Lastly, I would make the date window slightly bigger to allow for some breathing room for the numbers. I understand that the date placement is a limitation of the Miyota movement, but the cutouts itself can be altered a little bit for this. These are the very minor preferences that I have, but it should not take away from what the brand is delivering to us. The retail price on the Maelstrom will be $599, but the brand will launch this new collection on Kickstarter at $449 this October. Don't miss the super early bird price and run the risk of missing out on this great and solid diver. I know so because I missed out on the Chronicle. This watch, however, represents more than a clean and classy design, but also the concept of sharing. This watch effectively shared the great elements of the first collection to give this watch a continuity while carving its own identity with subtle adjustments. The brand itself and its founder, Ben, shared this review unit to me all the way from Australia by making all of the arrangements with Jody. Remember that backing behind the case back? That's because he wanted to share the best quality product to its reviewers. He didn't want to scratch the case back and spoil the production process of those scrutinizing the watch. He even included a whole different set of band to ensure that the next reviewer has a fresh set of material to work on. I'm guilty of not sharing the stories behind many of these watches. I hide behind my scribbly arrows and unnecessary dramatic editing work. But there are people better at sharing than me. People like Ben and Jody. They share their dreams, they share their unbiased opinion, they share beyond what is needed. If this is how Mitch Mason thrives, I'd like to see what they have to share next.